You listen to the Asa Park podcast.
The Asa Park podcast.
How did you first meet Taylor Swift?
So Taylor was introduced to me through the record company. I was in radio, and I got offered a job to work for Big Machine Records. And Scott Borchetta flew me out to Nashville and said, "Hey, listen, on your way back to the airport, I would love for you to listen to this CD and tell me what you think." So he handed me a CD of Taylor, and I stuck it in the rental car and I listened. And when I got back to the airport, I said, "There's something about this girl." I said, "The vocals are okay." I said, "But the songwriting is undeniable." So that's how I first was introduced to Taylor. And then when I took the job at the record label, they said, "Listen, I want you to take her and her mom out." I had created the first ever radio tour where artists actually got paid. And they said, "Look, take her out, teach her the radio business, teach her that side of the business." And the two of us together, we connected. And 6 months after that, her family asked me to be her manager. And that's how I ended up as her manager. I had never managed an artist before. I had never thought about wanting to manage an artist before. It just happened to work.
But what is, like you said, that there was just something about her. I guess the songwriting, of course. But when you met her, why is Taylor Swift different? What makes her different?
I was thinking about this when I was driving home today. I was in the car. Her focus, her determination, her work ethic, her ability to identify opportunity. You know, some of the things that we did early on, no other artist was doing. No one was staying after shows and meeting fans. No one was using this new technology called MySpace at the time to just, here's this group of people that are sitting on the social media platform all over the world. And she decided to show up and start having conversations. And she also started listening. She started hearing their stories. And then she started sharing her music that had something to do with their stories. And now all of a sudden this connection was made. And then she just exploded after that. So it's like, I think one of the things that's important for artists to understand is that you don't need everyone to be successful. You need your people. And she went out and found her people. It was that young teenage female that was going through the same things that she was going through. She just happened to know how to turn those emotions into songs. What people are ultimately going to invest in is the relationship, and then, of course, the community. Everyone wants to be a part of community. Everyone wants to feel like they're accepted. And she allowed them to feel that.
From what I understand, her parents, were they very much involved?
They're still very much involved. And I don't think that Taylor Swift would be who she is today if her family wasn't very much involved. They are very smart business people, and no one will do as much for the artist as someone who's connected by birth to that artist. You know, they blood. Right. So what they did is they just hired good people around them. They brought in Robert Allen, who's an amazing person. They brought in Frank Bell, who understood radio. So they built a team around her. And that's what I was. I was part of a team. It's like, yes, I was her manager per se, but we were all doing it together. We all had our roles. And now 13 Management is her management company, and she has people that work for her. She's the boss, but she has people that work for her in those specific roles. And I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, 100%, and impressive and inspiring, all of those things. Something there that I've thought a bit about. And you work for Big Machine after, right, too?
I consulted Big Machine afterwards, and I still have a relationship with them. And I went to work for Sony after that and consulted other major labels as well, yes.
Yeah, because the whole dispute with Taylor and Big Machine, we have to go there. And because... Yeah, it's an interesting case, and how I think this at least got portrayed in the media, because Taylor was very good at telling her side of the story.
Correct.
It was that Scooter Braun bought the rights, or Big Machine sold the rights to Scooter without consulting her first, or they had some discussions, and then all of a sudden the deal was done. She got upset, and from that she created this narrative of her being opposed the music machine, and no pun intended, big machine, but like she's the underdog, the girl who got tricked into signing a terrible deal, and that all this is the big music industry is dark and evil, and they are essentially tricking people. And Scooter Braun and Big Machine, Scott Borchetta, as you mentioned, became the faces of the evil music industry, and Taylor is the glowing hero.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts about all this?
Well, I mean, the thing is that the first deal that any artist signed, Taylor came to a record company as a complete unknown. Most artists come to a record company as a complete unknown. So the person that's going to take the risk is the label. The label is the bank. So the person that funds the operation owns the masters. That's just the way that the music business works. It's like, I live in my house, but the bank still owns my house. Until I pay this, I can say it's my house and come over to my house, but it's not my house. It's the bank's house because the bank is the one who put up the money. Now, after I pay the bank back, now I own the house. It's called recoupment in the music business. So I don't know what Taylor's structure was. Taylor had a record deal before I became her manager. Her family had invested in the record company. She signed a traditional deal. And then as the label starts making back money, you get a percentage of your masters back. So Scott Borchetta physically owned those masters. They belonged to him, even though it's her voice and, you know, the songs that she wrote. She owned the publishing. No one stole her songs from her. It was just those physical master recordings he owned. Scooter, when Scott decided to sell Big Machine Records, it came with her catalog of music. You see people now are buying up catalogs of music of, you know, legacy bands and things like that. So he had the rights to sell to whoever he wanted to, and that's who made the investment to buy it. There was just some bad blood, no pun intended, between Taylor and Scooter, and that's their business. That's not my business. There was some bad blood between the two, and it spilled over into the media. And because she has the bigger microphone and the louder voice, the fans thought that these two guys, that she signed a bad deal, that the big bad, no, it's the same exact deal unless you come to a label with music that you've already paid for and recorded. I'll give you a real good example. Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll paid for his music, was already making $3 million, was already had 1 million monthly listeners streaming his songs 6 times each a month. He showed up with a business. There wasn't risk involved to whoever wanted to partner with him. So he was then able to license his music to the record company. When Taylor signed her new deal with Universal, she structured it that she would own her masters from day one.
Yeah.
That now has changed the music industry. So thank you, Taylor Swift. Now artists who are coming to the table with some traction, already showing that they're a viable business, they're now able to structure more favorable record deals. Some of them are doing licensing deals. She brought attention to something that I felt was broke, because the way that the record company and the deals worked was that if it's an 85-15 deal, which means for every dollar, the record company gets 85 cents, the artist gets 15 cents. The artist then has to pay back every dollar that the record company put into it, but they're only able to pay it back from their 15 cents. So it's like a really bad loan. So that I don't agree. I think that it needs to be structured much different. But also, too, I also understand business is the person who's putting up the money and putting up the risk should get the bigger piece of the pie until everybody is recouped from what they invested. And then you split it appropriately based on whatever negotiation that you want to have. But she has now opened up a conversation that other artists get to come in and say, because there's a lot of artists that will sign anything. They just want to say they're with a record company. You know, if you sign a bad deal, that's on your attorney. That's not on the record company. The record company presents a deal. It's up to you whether you want it or renegotiate it or whatever, but no one's forcing anyone to sign a record deal. Today, you can pay for your own songs. You can distribute your own songs. You can upload your own songs. You can advertise your own songs. You can hire a PR person. All these things that a record company can do for you, every independent artist has the ability to do it if they're willing to fund it. But if you want somebody else to take the risk and put up the money, be prepared that they're going to write the best deal for them to kind of try to make sure that they get their money back, because most artists never recoup what's put into them. The labels write that off as a loss.